everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm a mom who loves home decor, thrifting, and a good DIY project. Today I have two Raffia DIYs for you. I love that you don't need many supplies for this. You pretty much just need some like cord, raffia, which you can find super cheap. Both of these wall hangings are very affordable, easy to make, a little time consuming, but not hard. Before we jump into things, if you're not already, feel free to follow me on Instagram at EmilyFaith22. Let's get started with project number one, a raffia rainbow wall hanging. For supplies, you're going to need some macrame cord, a bunch of raffia. I don't yet know how much I'm going to need of everything, so obviously just keep watching and I will give measurements. You are also going to need a hot glue gun, some scissors, and some wire of some kind. Step one, take your rope and some sort of circular object. I'm going to be using a plate, and that just will help me make a rainbow. Mama. You're going to want to have some overhang. That would potentially be a fringe at the bottom. So we're going to start looping around like this. So I used one entire package. This is 33 feet. I used a full 2 strands of 33 feet, so you will need at least 66 feet of cord. We are now going to go through and cut each of these loops. Next step I decided to do, instead of hot glue, is to take my wire. I actually have 2 kinds of wire. This one's a little thicker. Then I have this one that's a little thinner, and I am simply sticking it through the rope. It's totally okay if it shows because all of these are getting wrapped. So you can just kind of like push it through, kind of like you're just sewing it. So I got wire through one of them. Now I'm going to take the second string or cord and hot glue them together. I also tried a technique where I simply hot glued the wire in between the two at the same time that I hot glued the cords together. I surprisingly didn't find this as easy. I did find it a little more difficult and time consuming. I also must have burned myself like 50 times while making this project. I finished adding the wire and gluing all the cords together, and now the wrapping begins. So you take a piece of your straw, then we grab our hot glue gun, add a little bead of hot glue and simply hold it down while it's drying, and then begin wrapping your raffia around and around. This is quite a time-consuming process, and you do need to add hot glue every time you grab a new piece of raffia. I have finished up the rainbow. I actually didn't wrap one cord, so if you're noticing that there's one less, there is. I ended up deciding that I wanted to add raffia fringe instead of the rope. You don't need to have all this extra rope. Sorry about that. So I don't know exactly how much you'll need. I make these things not really knowing how it's gonna turn out, and so anyways, you don't need this extra cord. But to make these little fringes on the ends, take a piece of my raffia, use my hand, wrap it around, Take an extra piece, put it through so it looks like this. Then I am going to add some hot glue, lay this down, wrap around it. Lastly, you're going to do two things. You're going to cut the little loop and cut off your string. I finished up my tassel edges and I can trim them once everything's done. I think the easiest thing is just going to be to hot glue these together. I did think about taking the raffia and kind of like tying them, but that seems hard. But if you want to try that, you can. Otherwise, we're going to go in layer by layer and hot glue them. Now it's time to trim up the bottom, and yes, things didn't turn out perfectly straight. You guys could probably do a better job, but that's okay. Just gonna like trim up the extra frays. Are you guys ready to see how this turned out? Here it is. Project number 2 is this fun raffia wall hanging leaf. So let me show you how to make it.
For supplies, all you need is some cord. You don't even need macrame cord. That's just what I had on hand, and some raffia straw. You're going to cut the cord about 1 foot long and add a little loop knot at the top. Then you're going to take your raffia, and I'm grabbing just some bundles. I didn't even count out how much. You're going to fold it in half, or as close to halfway as possible. Tuck it underneath with the little loop and loop it over the string and pull the bundle through. So that is a very simple knot, and then you pull it tight. It took a little while to like pull it tight, I think because it's straw, it's not as easy to work with. So you do the same going the opposite direction, loop it under, and then pull the string through that loop, or the raffia, sorry, and then pull it tight. So you are going to continue doing this, alternating sides. A few things to mention: the less amount of straw you add in each bundle, I do think it kind of gives it a cleaner look. I kind of added more, just time-wise. I didn't have as much time. So the more you do, the easier and quicker it is, but the less you do, I think it would give it a cleaner look. Also, my raffia was very, very curly, and I've seen some on Pinterest that lay really, really nice and flat. So I'm not sure how to make it flatter. Maybe you guys know, and you can leave a comment below. As you guys just saw, I did end up tying a knot at the bottom. I did a double knot. I just wanted to make sure that none of the raffia fell off. I just trimmed off the little edges, and then I did go back in and add like 2 more rows of the raffia on either side. The last steps are to give this thing a haircut. So you're going to trim up both sides. You can kind of just trim it straight. And don't worry, I didn't waste this raffia. I am saving it for maybe future projects. So just keep trimming on either side. It actually took me a while. I kept going back and fiddling with it because some of them, as I said, were really curly. So it was hard to know like exactly how long they were. But you guys can just kind of play with it. And then you kind of bend it downwards. And the very last thing I did was tie some raffia to the very bottom knot. Sorry about the background noise. The very bottom knot, and just give it a little trim. That way something was hanging right in the middle, just to finish it off.
Are you guys ready to see how it turned out? Here it is. I just love how these DIYs turned out. I hope you guys like them and could make your own. If you liked today's video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. As always, you guys can subscribe. For more of my everyday life, follow me on Instagram at EmilyFaith22. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.